Okay. So basically, in this last session, we are talking about the Vipallasa Sutta. So last week we were discussing the Vipallasas. And in the Vipallas, I mean, it can be summarized into these three diagrams. You know, so the Vipallasa is nothing but the perversions, upside down, you know, viparyas, the Sanskrit word viparyas is actually, in English it's called topsy-turvy, yeah, topsy-turvy. It's the top, it is upside down, yeah. So something, what appears on the surface is not reliable, basically. So the Vipallasa can be discussed at 4 different levels. Anicca, the opposite of anicca is nicca. Dukkha, the opposite of dukkha is sukha. Anatta, the opposite of anatta is atta. Subha, asubha, the opposite of asubha is subha. So anicca is translated as impermanence. Dukkha, suffering, unsatisfactoriness. Anatta, soullessness. Asubha is kind of foulness. So basically, so what's a better word for asubha? Subha is kind of, accepting as everything as good, perfect, nice. And asubha is the opposite of that. Asubhas, yeah, which is called, which is, usually translated as the foulness. Yeah. So these four realities are actually perceived. Now the sanya level, there are 3 different levels. It is registered. It is registered at the sanya level, the you perceive, when you see something, you perceive it to be nicca, subha, sukha, atta. Yeah. Or it could be at the, once you perceive it, you actually register it in your mind at the mental level. And the third level is then you form a ditti. Ditti is a view. So you form the view and it is like a lens. You make a lens in your perceptual faculties, right? So when you in the visual, it could be auditory, it could be smell, taste, touch, and thinking. So in all levels, you could actually form a view of it. So ordinary people perceive the world in the way that the first diagram tells you. Yeah. And what happens after listening to the Buddha, after really investigation of Dhamma, one really changes one's mind. So let's skip the middle diagram for a moment and let's move on to the third diagram. The third diagram is a summary of 3 different realizations. The first diagram is summarized. So that is the Putujjana. ordinary worldling, how he or she actually perceives the world, commit to the mind, form a view. And the second level is the Sotapanna, the stream enterer. Once you actually read the sutras, once you listen to the Dharma, once you associate with Dharma, and then you really change your the way you actually perceive, and so anicca. One really interesting thing is both anicca as and anatta. Once you become sotapanna, stream enterer, you break that barrier. So you are no longer actually perceiving the anicca as nitya, anatta as atta. So you break all the three levels, and ditti, your whole ditti is gone. That's why the right, wrong view, the sakkaya ditti is broken at the level of sotapanna. Yeah. So, but what is left? What's left at the sotapanna is still the dukkha and asubha. Dukkha as sukha, asubha as subha. So therefore, the sotapanna has to work on those four. Four. Yeah, I think out of the 12, the sotapanna achieves 8. What he or she is left with is these 4 impediments, 4 blocks. Yeah. And then the sakadagami, the sotapanna becomes sakadagami. Once you become sakadagami, then your dukkha, your asubha, those are also weakened to a great extent. And then anagamis, further weaken, and the arahant are now arahant actually then completely get everything perfectly, like in the middle diagram. Okay, so that's basically the summary of the Vipallasa Sutta. So any questions, folks? Anything you would like to clarify, or are you did you get everything? Have you broken broken away from this vipallasas, and now so okay, so we will before we get a good summary of our sessions, so let's ponder over, because this is a really crucial sutta, the Vipallasa Sutta. Yeah. And you can actually test yourself whether you have still any vipallasas left, or you have some work to do. Okay. What do you think, Alex, Vijay, Bhanthe? Vijita is also. Oh, I saw our chanting Bhante also joining, I thought. So he disappeared. Okay. Any thoughts, any questions, any comments?
But I can't say that I've broken free of the Vipalasa.
Okay.
But I
Don't worry, it may be the heat, you know. Probably.
maybe the heat, yes. Then again, yet this overview of the sutta is very good, and it made it very much clear what the contents are. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah, thank you. So, Vijay, what's your take on this?
Yes, Dr. Sunil, thank you so much. It is like, yes, as Alex said, we can get the idea that I'm pretty much sure I did not. I need to work on that. So, yes, one question though, I got
Yeah.
that last time you explained Niche Anichang means,
Yeah.
it means like not something is impermanent, the thing is itself impermanent, like
Yeah.
whatever we take, even though it is person or a thing.
Yeah.
So again, may I ask, what is that Aniche Nichang now?
Okay, that's a really great question. And I think it is very, very probing, really important question. Now, all these four can be actually, I mean, the first three is called three characteristics of existence. So they are very crucial for one's enlightenment. If you don't understand anicca, if you don't understand dukkha, if you don't understand anatta, the Buddha says you haven't got anything. I have been, contributing to. So basically, but the real question is, at what level? At what level can you understand? I mean, are you understanding? You know, some people say, "Oh, we already understand anicca." Yeah. What is anicca? Impermanence. So what's impermanent? It is actually something is impermanent. Something. Yeah. So you see, we posit a thing, and then that thing is being, looked at as either permanent or impermanent. So, and the Buddha very smartly, really interesting thing is the Buddha actually said, now remember, if I were to take you to the Buddha's last verses, it says, Anicce nicca sanyino, dukkhe cha sukha sanyino, anatta nicca attati, asubhe subha sanyino, micca ditti gata satta, chitta chitta visanyino. Now, that's a really important one. The anicce nicca sanyino. Now, taking the impermanent thing as permanent. So I said, I mean, this is also, there is a corollary. The opposite of this is Niche Anicca Sanyino. So just like Anicce Nicca Sanyino or Niche Anicca Sanyino. Now, in the worldly context, people take, impermanence as, now say this, people are impermanent. Yeah. Now, what does that really mean? The people, you already posit, accept a thing, a person, thing, a place, something. And that thing is impermanent. So it's basically, This is why I said, you just actually take something and say, this thing is impermanent. So that means it's not anicca, nicca, nicca, anicca. This is the exact opposite of what the Buddha is talking about, right? So lot of even Buddhists actually mistakenly take this as a realization of anicca. So now you say a man is born and that man is subject to impermanence. A tree, a house, something. Yeah. So what happens is that's also nicce anicca sanya. And which is actually again a wrong and now remember we were talking about the Lokiya and Lokuttara. Yeah. At the level of the world, we are already accepting the world, and then we pick out something in the world and we say, oh, this thing is impermanent. Yeah. So it is like nicce anicca sanya, the exact opposite of what the Buddha is talking about. So anicca can be seen at a two different level. It's something is impermanent, and that's again a wrong view. View which is actually in the realm of the world, if you know what I mean. So the exact meaning of anicca, I mean, the Buddha actually very clearly says, if somebody understands anicca, that person understands exact reality in the world. So unless you are enlightened or sotapanna, you don't really understand anicca at all. Do you see what I mean? Like, I mean, you don't understand the Aryan concept of anicca. So you may be actually understanding anicca in the worldly context. Now that's really important to understand. Yeah. And the same thing is true of mindfulness. Now remember we talked about mindfulness in the world. Mindfulness supramundane or beyond the world. Okay. So and this is why anicce nicca sanyino, dukkhecha sukha sanyino, anatta nicca attati, asubhe subha sanyino, micca ditthigata. And he refers to it as micca ditthigata, wrong view, people who give into wrong view. Kitta chitta visanyino, kitta chitta. Now that's again a very special word. Now that is again the word chitta means broken. It's a broken view. Visanyino means completely convoluted and misrepresented. So te yoga yutta maras ayoga ke minojana. So he says te yoga yutta maras, that person is subject to the mara. Ayoga ke minojana. Satta, and satta gachanti samsara jati marana gamino. So it says these individuals actually go in this cycle of birth and death. Yeah. Yadacha Buddha lokasmin. I mean, now, at which time when the Buddha really comes to the world, uppajjanti pabhankara, te imang dhammam pakaseti dukkupa samagamina. Now, this is the prerogative, or this is the uniqueness of the Buddha. So the Buddha has to come to the world to tell the world, look, you know, you are all convoluted, you are all mistaken. Yeah. So tesang sutvana sappanya. Now, then, you know, having heard that with wisdom, sachittam pacha laddhate anichang anichato dakku. Now, that's the realization. You know, seeing the impermanence as impermanence. Anichang anichato dakku, dukkha maddakku dukkhato, anattani anattati, asubhang asubha, you know, taddasum. Sammaditi samadhana. Now that's actually observed in the samadhiti. Yes. Sabbam dukkhang upachagu. So, you know, then, you know, through that realization, one actually relieves oneself, one, you know, overcomes all dukkhas. So, yeah, does that make sense to you now? Or am I convoluted
No, yeah.
myself?
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunil. Yes, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay, Bhante, do you have anything to add?
Actually, I have no anything to add, but this is very clear and good approach for me too, sir. Because traditionally we read just a sutta and just read and try to get the word by word meaning. This is the way we traditionally what we do. But I think
Exactly.
this is very good way, and I was very impressed by this diagram and this chart. It's very
Yeah.
clearly explained, and I think this all the course also was very what do you call me, very turning point for me, because I, as a Sanskrit, I am following mostly the I'm studying Nagarjuna Dharma Kirti Vasubandhu Day. I before I start my degree, I studied these suttas and like that. But what we have done that traditional way, but this is the new way, and I can do further my research by what I thought is the Nagarjuna has explained something very new and very different things than Theravada. But now I have realized that Nagarjuna also based on this Theravada tradition, and he interpret this philosophy deeply. And this is the thing. So thank you so much, sir.
Oh, that's wonderful, Bhante. No, I think, you know, 2 points you make are very important. Number one is, you know, when we read a sutta, how do we read a sutta? It really does matter, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, we can read a sutta in a very ordinary way, literal way, you know, just by understanding the meaning of the word. But the meaning of the word, it belongs to the world. And the Buddha was not talking about, you know, worldly phenomena. The Buddha was talking about the supramundane, you know, beyond the world. And he says, I mean, in the very first sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Buddha said, you know, I have realized something so profound. I have realized something that I hadn't, you know, hadn't realized before. Now, Pubbe Ananusute Sudhammesu Chakkung Udapad. So the Buddha, I mean, so we actually don't seem to grasp that that much, because we are woven, sort of, we are bound into the world. We are part of the world, so therefore we interpret the words of the Buddha in the worldly context. Yeah. So, I mean, the repercussions of that, the consequences of that is that we actually end up understanding the words of the Buddha in our own way, rather than the way that the Buddha expects us to understand. And this is, I mean, this is the real gap, real issue with the enlightenment. I mean, see, the Buddha wanted us to, the Buddha wanted us to realize what he realized. And he was really communicating a deep meaning, or, deep Dhamma. But, if we understand it in our own way, then I mean, we are not really doing justice to his teaching at all. Yeah. So this is why, I mean, especially I feel so sorry for the Westerners, especially the Western people. I mean, Alex, I'm sure you will agree with me. When we translate the Pali into English, we seem to lose that depth, and that is what Venerable Vijita is referring to. So basically, going beyond the word, beyond the phrases, beyond the clauses, beyond sentences, getting into the deep meaning is not an easy thing at all. I mean, I must tell you, I have been reading the Pali Sutras for 45 years now, and I don't seem that old, do I? But for 45 years, I have been reading the sutras in the very ordinary way. But I mean, I suddenly realized that it's not right. It's not the way to read the sutras. So we have to get into the depth of the Buddhist teaching. Yeah. And the second point that Venerable Vijita is making, very important. And then when you touch that depth, and then it really transcends all these traditional differences, like the Chan Buddhism, Sanskrit Buddhism, Nagarjunas, Vasubandhus, and Asangas, and all of these other Sanskriticians. Like, I can very well see the corollaries, the connections between the Nagarjunas. Now, see the Mula Madhyamika Karika, for example, as a commentary to some of the Pali Sutras. So I see lot of similarities, lot of depth, touch in the Sanskrit Buddhism and the Pali tradition. So superficially, on the surface, you might see, these variations, but actually at a deeper level, they join hands. Really very, very important. I think those 2 points are really very valid and important to realize. So, I mean, if this course, the whole purpose of this course is kind of training ourselves to read a sutta in a probing in a more insightful and more analytical manner, rather than sort of going by the words and translating the words. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for your comments, and none of you actually make enough criticism of the course yet, but you are most welcome to criticize me. You know, the way I must also tell you, like when I was teaching the course from Sri Lanka, in the middle of the night, I fell asleep. One day Alex was telling me, why don't you get some sleep, you know? And he was kind enough to you know, because it's sleepy time, you know. So I was wondering why the gods came to the Buddha in the middle of the night, you know. They should have come a bit early, but perhaps the gods probably are so you know, awake even in the night. Yeah. So anyway, so what I really would like to do, if you have any other questions, please raise your hand, and please, because the whole purpose of the course is to be as analytical as possible. Yeah. Okay. I think the Bhante dropped out again. That's okay, because you know, signal is probably weak in Sri Lanka. Okay, any more questions, Vijay?
Not at the moment, Dr. Sunil.
Okay. So that's good. Now one other thing I wanted to point out, I see this anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Now these three are taken to be kind of three characteristics of existence. So it's kind of very central. And a lot of people have this mistaken view that one understands anicca, first, and then dukkha next, and anatta next. Now, according to this Vipallasa Sutta, but that is not the case, because you know, the anicca, dukkha, and anatta are like so three aspects, kind of what I should say, facets, three facets of the same prism. So three sides. So therefore, I mean, you can reach, I mean, this is also, there is another sutta called, I think it's called Pariyaya or something, where the Buddha actually says, if you understand anicca, you understand dukkha, and you understand anatta as well. So these three, now anicca culminates in it is called vimukti mukha. So when you actually understand anicca, then you actually you come to a vimukti door, liberation door, which is called what's yeah, anicca. I just forgot that anicca culminates in the, you know, the vimukti. I'm looking for the vimukti door. It's called signlessness. It will come to me in a minute. So dukkha and anatta. Anatta is easy. It's called sunyata. Sunyata vimokha. Animita, these are apranihita and sunyata. Now those are the three things. Now when you actually realize anicca, so you become animita, kind of signless. You entered into the signless realm where you don't actually hold on to any sign at all. Anicca leads into animita. Dukkha leads into apranihita. Anatta leads into sunyata. Yeah. So yeah. We'll come to that if you are interested. So do you see where I'm going, or is it too much at the
No,
moment?
sorry, Dr.
Sorry?
Sunil, I'm really interested in, I think, others to know
Yeah.
this
Okay.
apranihita.
Apranihita. Yeah. Apranihita. It's called apranihita. Let me shall I write it down for you? Let me just get my writing pad. It's told. Okay. So let me first. Okay. Let me get a whiteboard. Okay. So this is the point. Anicca. So anicca actually culminates in this called animitta. Is animitta, it's called vimokha. So vimokha is vimukti do. Yeah, animitta. So if you understand anicca, you culminates, the animitta means na nimitta. Na nimitta. What is nimitta? Nimitta is kind of sign. Yeah. So dukkha culminates in apanihita. It's again vimokha, yeah. So this is again, same thing applies to vimokha. Apanihita means again, you just realize the true nature of things. So pranihita means your great attachment to things. So you becomes detached. So apranihita means kind of detachedness, yeah, detached. So and then anatta culminates in sunyata. So sunyata vimokha. Yeah. So sunyata vimokha means actually, emptiness. This is emptiness. So this is called sunyata viharana, sunyata vimokha. So Now these are like three doors, three doors to Nibbana. So, so one is Animitta, Apranihita, and Sunyata. Are those three doors, Vimukti doors to Nibbana. So one actually enters Nibbana, one can actually enter into Nibbana from any of these doors. So what it really means is it's like a prism, yeah? How do you draw a prism? Okay. So, in a prism, so you have actually three sides to a prism. And, anicca or dukkha, anatta on the other side. So these are like, three prisms, three facets. Now, each prism has a facet, yeah? So, I mean, what it really says is that these three things are so interconnected. So there is no way that one understands anicca, but one does not understand dukkha. The Buddha actually has a famous statement. It says, yadaniccam tan dukkhang, that which yadaniccam tan dukkhang. Yang dukkhang tadanatta. Yang dukkhang tadanatta. Anatta. So that means, that which is anicca is dukkha. That which is dukkha is anatta. So in other words, now the three are very nicely connected together. So therefore, there is no way that one understands only one side aspect and not the other. Do you follow me? Yeah? So,
Yes.
okay, brilliant. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So, okay. So let's get to the sutta now. Okay. Now in this actually, in this very course, what we were trying to do, we started off, I mean, I want to really organize this into a proper book. And, before I die, hopefully, I want to sort of put this into, I mean, it's called Buddha in the Pali Canon. So basically, I want to sort of give new meaning. Now, starting with Triratna, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Yeah. This is where how we started, taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And what do you actually think the significance of taking refuge in the triple gem? Yeah, what's its significance?
Is it for me, like I understood it as the starting point of this noble eightfold path. Samma Ditti. Once you go refugee, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, then you do not have any doubt on that. And then it is the starting point where it leads to Nibbana.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. I mean, in the Sotapatti Sangyutta, it is very clearly stated this is the sign of somebody's realization. So if you have realized the Dhamma, you have established faith in the Buddha. You have established faith in the Sangha. So it's called Buddhe Avecchappasadena Samannagato. Dhamme Avecchappasada. Avecchappasada means kind of unshaken faith. You establish unshaken faith in the Buddha, unshaken faith in the Dhamma, and unshaken faith in the Sangha. And there is another unshaken faith in the Shiksha. Shiksha means, basically Aryan Shiksha. This is so training. You have no doubt in the training process. So, and that is also a very important quality. I mean, a lot of people think, we take refuge in the Buddha just like a deity for the protection, for, of course, people who follow the theistic faiths, they have to believe in God. Yeah. I mean, this is totally different. But for some people think that, it is, you take refuge in the Buddha because the Buddha is going to, grant you all the wishes, like things like that, which is not the case. So, I mean, of course, the Buddha gives all the, grants all the wishes when you really understand, realize the Dhamma. And then you establish faith in the Sangha community who actually have accomplished the journey, the path. So therefore, Triratna or taking refuge in the triple gem need to be understood in a different manner, in a more meaningful manner. Yeah, do you agree? And it is also not, it's also not this historic Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, that we refer to when we actually say take refuge in the Buddha. It's the enlightened one. It's not an individual. It's called sort of a designation. When you say the President of the United States, it's a designation rather than an individual. Yeah. So Buddha is that type of position or designation rather than an individual per se. Yeah. So Dhamma Sangha. So therefore, we need to revisit the meaning of taking refuge. If we were to really contextualize it in the teachings, yeah. And then we discuss the Four Noble Truths, yeah. Everybody understands, Four Noble Truths, but that doesn't mean that everybody is enlightened. Suffering, yeah. The noble truth of suffering. What's noble about the suffering? So the cause of suffering. Yeah. So Four Noble Truths. Excuse me. So I'm still in jet lag. Yeah. So, and then Eightfold Noble Path. Now this is something common to all Buddhist traditions. Now, if there is one thing that is common to all Buddhist traditions, it is Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Noble Path. Yeah. So we discuss Eightfold Noble Path. And most importantly, we discuss middle path, Majjhima Patipada, middle path. And this again gives a wrong interpretation, wrong understanding. And people think that middle path is, something in between, this side and that side. I mean, whenever you are looking for the middle of something, you simply actually, try to locate something in between. But in this particular context, now remember we talked about two things, middle way philosophy and middle way practice. Yeah. So what's the middle way philosophy? And what's the middle way practice? Now I'm actually testing you now. What's the middle way philosophy? And what's the difference between middle way philosophy and middle way practice?
I think
Alex.
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
Alex goes first.
if I remember correctly, the middle way philosophy is I'm going the other way around. The middle way practice is the Noble Eightfold Path, because it tells you how to apply it to your real life, which then would include the Pratitya Samuppada.
Yeah.
And like the Four Noble Truths. So the Majjhima Patipada, that would be the philosophical part.
Yeah, well, very, very clearly, middle way philosophy is Paticca Samuppada, dependent origination. It's a middle way philosophy. Middle way practice is Eightfold Noble Path. No, very much like path, Magga. Magga, it's called Aryo Attangiko Maggo. Magga means path. So path is the practice, yeah? Yes. So middle way practice is Eightfold Noble Path. Middle way philosophy is Paticca Samuppada. So in both, the both are actually mentioned in the sutras. So for example, Kachana Gota Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya, you have a sutta called Kachana Gota, where middle way, the Buddha says, Ete te bhikkhave ubo ante anupagama majjhima patipada tathagatina. When he refers to middle way, he refers to middle way philosophy there. So, avijja pacchaya sankhara. And then in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, he refers to middle way as Eightfold Noble Path. So, and one can actually be, ask the question like, why is he using two different things as middle way? And the answer is, easy, because middle way has two aspects. One is middle way philosophy, and the other is middle way practice. So, and that is, really, really important in the Pali Canon. The distinction is very clearly made between the two. Yeah. Excellent. Are you all with me so far? Yes. Okay. Yes. Good. So Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. So, I mean, these are the crucial suttas we were discussing. And the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta kind of very nicely lays down the path. I mean, you remember the context, after realizing the, attaining the Buddhahood, the Buddha actually thought for himself, who is going to understand what I have realized? And he was looking for, kind of wise people who can easily comprehend, because he realized, I mean, as it is in Ariya Pariyesana Sutta, in the Majjhima Nikaya, Noble Sage, the Buddha says, I realized something very deep. He used 5 different words to describe the depth of his realization. It says, Patisotagaming Nipuna. Patisotagami. It's actually not Anusotagami. Anusotagami is going with the stream, and Patisotagami is the going against the stream. So it's a different thinking pattern. Now that is actually borne out by this Vipallasa Sutta very well. So because the world is always, convoluted, mistaken, so therefore Patisotagami, it is so. Do you want me to write those words? Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very studious people. I like that. Okay. Okay. So in the Ariya Pariyesana Sutta, clear this. Okay. I mean, this is again another crucial sutta, Ariya Pariyesana Sutta. It's actually in Majjhima Nikaya. Yeah. So where the Buddha says, I mean, he gives a full account of his journey. Yeah. So in the Ariya Pariyesana Sutta says, there is a stanza, called Patisotha Ga Ming Nipunang. Gam Bhiram Dud Dasang Anu. Patisothagaming Nipunang Gambhiran Duddasang Anu. Raga Ratta Na Da Hinti. Oh, should write capital. Ragratan Dakinti Tamo Tan Dena Avata. So basically, what it means is Patisotagami. Patisotagami means going against the stream. Yeah, going against the stream. So Patisotagami, Nipunang. Nipuna means very insightful, very probing, Nipuna. Gambhira. Gambhira means deep. Duddasam. Duddasam means hard to see, hard to understand. Gambhira and Duddasam. Anung. Anung is very subtle. Yeah. So he says, now these 5 words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he described his teaching in 5 different words. Patisotagaming Nipunam Gambhiram Duddasang Anu Raga Ratta Nadakenti. Now those who are attached to the raga, cling to the world, will not on the tamo khandena avata. Tamo means darkness. Khandena, surrounded by the darkness. Tamo khandena avata. Surrounded by the darkness of samsara, they will not see. So, yeah. So this is Arya Pariyesana Sutta. So how deep his teaching is. So therefore, he was looking for people, at least initially, to, who should I teach this? And then several people came to his mind, his teachers, the teachers like Alara Sudakarama Puttas, and then he realized, oh, Alara died about a week ago. Udakarama Putta has, died just yesterday. And who else is left? I had these 5 ascetics, who helped me in the meditation, his meditation times. And then he thought, oh, they are in the Saranath, Varanasi. So he was actually going there. Yeah. So Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. And this is how he was actually, slowly starting. I mean, first he thought I should never teach. I should, I should stay quiet. Then the Brahma, the creator, intervene. He came out and he says, please don't do that to the world. You should go out and teach. Yeah. So you remember that story. So we started from Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and then we went on to the Anatta Lakkana Sutta, where we look at Anatta Lakkana, and then we went on to Anatta Lakkana is basically, how the 5 aggregates of clinging are not, actually not self, not soul. So, and then we just went into Pena Pindupama Sutta, where, realizing the Rupa, all the 5 aggregates, and then we went on to reading, Mahachattārisaka Sutta. Remember? So, and then we went on to, what did we go to? Mahachattārisaka Sutta, grade 40. It was again a very deep sutta. And then we, what was the next one? Hajjaniya Sutta. I mean, again, we didn't go into further details. I mean, if you read the suttas in depth, you need one full course on each sutta, which we couldn't afford, but we just sort of, went on. Okay. And then we came to the Vipallasa Sutta. And from the Vipallasa Sutta, actually, we should be reading Anicca Sanya Sutta. We could spend a little bit of time on Anicca Sanya next. And you could, in the meantime, you could ask me the question, what is the rationale of choosing these suttas, not the other ones? Yeah. So basically, you should ask that question. Does that make sense to you, Vijay? I think you look tired, and I think we need a break now. we need a short break. Shall we take a short break now?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we'll take
that's
a short tea break and come back. Okay. All right. Okay. So any questions so far? Anything that came up in your mind during the break?
Yes, would like to know the rationale of getting these suttas.
Oh, I thought you would have forgotten the question already. So
No.
yeah. So what is the rationale behind this, sutras? That, okay, while I was actually reading the Pali Canon, more precisely during the COVID times, it occurred to me actually, you can choose some number of sutras in the Pali Canon. Like, I mean, I would say about 60, 70 very crucial sutras where, I mean, which actually discuss the topics very clearly. And I think, I mean, all other sutras kind of rally around these sutras. I mean, although there are 18,000 sutras, I mean, if you understand one sutra properly, and that would really, because, I mean, these sutras are different ways of expressing the realizations. So therefore, they are not, I mean, I'm not surprised that in some traditions they have only one sutra, like Heart Sutra or Prajna Paramita or whatever. So that would, surely cover the core of the Buddha's teaching. So when I chose these sutras, I was thinking of that, what is the core message? And so, okay. So the Bhante Vijita says his phone is stuck. Don't worry, Bhante. We will forgive you. So, so in other words, I mean, if the message is core and then the sutras sort of come together to form a picture. And I was wondering, what critical, crucial sutras we should choose. And then I came up with this list of sutras, which is about 20-25, or even, I mean, if you can read a bit more, like 50 to 60, that would even be better. But the point is, you really don't need to. You don't need to read all the sutras to understand the Buddhist message. And this reminds me of a question that was asked in my interview with the Amsterdam University, and they asked me, like, how much Dhamma one should know before one is able to really communicate or be a chaplain, for example, like, the spiritual caregiver. How much should you know? So what's your view on that? How many sutras should you know before you are able to be a guru or teacher? Alex.
I think that is a really interesting, but also very difficult question, because
Yes.
someone can know all the sutras by heart, but have not yet understood the essence.
Yeah.
And someone may know one sutra, have studied all their lives, and have understood, have realized. So I think it's a very tricky question to answer, and I'm really really interested what your answer was.
Yeah. Well, what really occurred to me was what the Buddha said to Paharada. There is another a sutta called Paharada, and he came. Do you know the story of the Paharada? Probably. Have you come across that at all? Paharada was an oceanologist, so he knew a lot about the great ocean. It's called Asura. And one day he came to the Buddha and he sat down. He said, I have few hours to kill. Shall we have a conversation? And the Buddha said, of course, come and sit down. Buddha is always willing to talk to anyone who actually comes on his way. So then Parada asked the question, the same. I mean, basically, he said, how do you describe your teaching? What are the great qualities of your teaching? And the Buddha actually, without rushing into the answer, he said, tell me something about the great ocean. What are the qualities of the great ocean? The qualities of the great ocean. And he said, it deepens gradually. It holds waters from different rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Sarabu, Vachiravati, and it holds great treasures, great beings. And, every time you throw something at it, if it is impure, it will throw it back to the shore. I mean, there were these 9 qualities of the great ocean. And the Buddha said, guess what? My teaching also has the same qualities. So, and one of the qualities he said was, no matter where you taste the great ocean, it has the same taste. Whether you actually take, a little drop from the North Sea, the South Sea, whatever, Atlantic Sea or whatever, will have pretty much the same taste. And the Buddha said, my teaching has the same taste, and you figure that out. So what is the taste of my teaching? Is a taste of freedom, taste of, it's called vimukti rasa. So my answer to the question was, how much from the great ocean before you are able to know the real taste of the great ocean? I mean, for one person, it may be just a simple drop. For another person like me, I may need a whole bucket full of great ocean, when my mind is gross. And it all depends. So, I mean, when different people came to the Buddha, they got different teachings, but they all actually had the same realization, didn't they? Yeah. So, I mean, the answer I gave, I mean, you may disagree with me. It really doesn't matter how much, but how you taste it. Do you grasp the real taste of the great ocean? The same way, do you grasp the real taste of the Dhamma? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the answer is, I mean, it doesn't, matter how much you know, but if you know one thing proper, one thing correct. I mean, now say, for example, anicca. I mean, this is exactly the answer that the Buddha gives. The Buddha says, do you understand anicca? Then you understand everything. If you understand anicca properly, and that's the important, that's within quote unquote, properly. Do you understand it proper? And then you understand the whole thing. If you don't understand it properly, perhaps maybe you may have missed it. Yeah. So and that is the important part. I mean, even at the time of the Buddha, there were some disciples who really who knew so much about the teachings. But there were some who just got a little taste of this, like, do you remember Bahir? Bahir came from afar, and he said he doesn't have much time. Perhaps he knew that he was, his life is slowly getting to an end. And he said, can you really give me a teaching in a nutshell, summary? And the Buddha said, can you wait until we come back from the Pindapat? The Buddha was getting ready to go to Pindapat. And he said, no, I can't wait that long. I'm not sure whether you will return from Pindapat safe. You can die on the way, or I can die on the way. I mean, so basically, the Buddha actually got the message, and he said, look, I'm going to give you a very gist of my teaching. And he said, ditte dittamatta, in the scene, just the scene. In the herd, just the herd. Ditte dittamattang, sute sudamattang, mute, mutamattang. In the field, just the field. And, in the thought, just the thought. Basically, then if you really understand that, you are neither here nor there, not in between, that is the end of the samsara for you. So, I mean, that's how this Dhamma works. And now we have the luxury of reading 18,000 suttas, because, these wonderful monks have recorded them nicely in books. And, behind me, there's this, lot of the Tipitaka books. And, but imagine, at the time of the Buddha, there weren't that many libraries, and there were not that many disciples, so it was all, far between, like, very, very rare. The teaching was very rare. And, you remember the Pukusati, a king who gave up the throne to listen, actually come, follow the Buddha. But he hadn't seen him. He hadn't met him. And there was no internet, no Google, no YouTube, no social media at the time. Thankfully, and now you have everything. Yeah. You have, you are inundated with all the info. But yeah, I mean, so that's why you think, oh, I need to read every sutta. Not really, if you read one sutta and in an insightful way, getting into the core of the teachings, And that is, now remember Sariputta, you know, he became Sotapanna just by listening to 2 lines of a stanza. Yeah, he heard the words, Ye Dhamma Hetu Pabhava, Tesang Hetum Tathagato Aha. So, whilst he was listening to those 2 lines, he had already comprehended or entered into the stream. So, stream enterer he became. Yeah. So that's how it works. This Dhamma works. Bhante, are you able to talk now? I know it's very hard for you.
Yes, sir. I am so sorry. I was could hear, but I couldn't on the mic. I think then I restart the phone now. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry at all. Don't worry. So what do you think of our
Not
conversation?
sleeping.
Huh?
Yeah, not
What did
sleeping.
you're becoming sleepy?
No, not sleeping. I was here listening to the lecture,
Yes.
but
Oh,
unable
very.
to unmute my mic.
Oh, okay. Don't worry at all. Yeah. What did you think of our conversation?
Very good and very helpful. Quite sad today is the final.
Oh, you are sad. No, don't worry. Don't worry. We'll start again. Don't worry. I mean, I think what I really want to do, I want to invite people to come to Sri Lanka and do a retreat, like one month retreat, reading the sutras and kind of discussing it face to face. And I will provide you with meals, and yeah, it'd be nice. And we'll go to the forest, the jungle, and then bathe in the stream. Wouldn't that be really nice? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm being here for 4 years. I'm really missing Sri Lanka.
Oh gosh, yeah. So no, seriously, I was last month. I was there. I was thinking, oh, what a wonderful. I mean, it's only birds sounds and only the animals sounds. Like there are the deer and the peacocks and so on. But it's very nice. So we could, really spend some time reading the sutras and discussing them and doing a retreat. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, yeah. So I'm inviting people to come to Sri Lanka in August, and so perhaps maybe for 10 days, read the sutras, do some meditation, enjoy the wilderness, etc. Yeah. So let's see. Anyway, so Bhante Vijita is there, and there are other Bhantes around. So we can, I think you are very busy with the university teaching. Probably August time, you have some holidays, don't you? So let's plan on something. Yeah. Yeah, is that
After
okay,
this
Bhante?
month, yes, sir, I am free now.
Oh, you are free. Very nice to hear that, I think, in the world, people never are free, because they have got their jobs, they are doing so much work. Even after retirement, they have to look after their children's children, and they never get a chance to, which is
I
called
resigned
LLB.
from
Yeah, it's called LLB, Lamai Inge Lamai Balagano, LLB. Yeah. So Alex is missing that joke. LLB.
Yes.
It is looking after your children's children. Look who is here. Yeah, Bhanthe. Yeah, Dhammarathana is here. So,
Sorry, sir, I'm
uh,
late today because I went
oh,
to help the Bhante's Los Angeles airport.
oh, okay. See,
It's midnight.
you're hosting some
I
Bhantes,
came
yeah?
in Nevada,
Oh, right.
4 a.m. early.
4 a.m. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that
very
must
tired
be
and I
hard.
sleep.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. I pray for you. I pray for you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
How is
So,
today class?
we are okay, and we are going to finish today.
Today?
This course is going to end today, but Bhante, Vijita is very sad.
Why
But
Bhante sad?
Vijay and Alex are very happy because
Really?
No, 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 no.
We do feel sad, but we think
Okay.
that we may
Yeah.
have some opportunities in the future to have
Of course.
kind of discussion.
Of course. Yeah. No, we'll organize a nice class. Yeah, we'll organize a nice class. More refined one, and then read more suttas. Probably an advanced level one. I mean, this is kind of preliminary, but once you know a bit of Pali, it's time to read some more suttas. So we'll plan on something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very good. So okay. And if you don't have any other questions, what I would like to do is just read the Anicca Sanya Sutta, the last part of the Anicca Sanya. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
I mean,
definitely.
that's a very crucial sutta, by the way. Yeah. It comes from Samyutta Nikaya again. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, I think it's a little bit bigger now. So what's really important about this sutta is the Buddha says, if you understand anicca, you understand everything. So I'll read some parts of it. It is Savatyam. Savatti Nidanam is this sutta is based in Savatti. That's the context. So let's read the text now. The Buddha says, Anicca Sanya Bhikkhave Bhavita Bahulikata Sabbam Kamragam Paryadiyati Sabbam Ruparagam Paryadiyati Sabbam Bhavaragam Paryadiyati Sabbam Avijjam Paryadiyati Sabbam Asmimana Samuhanti. So the Buddha says, Anicca Sanya Bhikkhave Bhavita. If you actually associate anicca sanya, this perception of impermanence, if you incorporate that into your practice, bhavita. Now, bhavita is a crucial word. That means practiced. Bhavita, bahulikata. Bahulikata means made much of. That is, practice more and more. Yeah. And then sabbang kamaraga, all sensual attachment. Sabbang kamaraga. Pariyadiyati. Pariyadiyati means removed, taken away. All your, sensual attachment is taken away. Sabbam ruparagam, all your attachment to form, ruparagam, paryadiyati, taken away or removed. Sabbam bhavaragam, all your attachment to being, paryadiyati, taken away or removed. Sabbang avijjam, all ignorance, paryadiyati, taken away or removed. Sabbang asmimana, all the asmimana means concept of me. Samuhanti. Samuhanti is like root, uprooted, rooted out. Yeah. So, anicca sanya bhikkave bhavita bahulikata sabbam kamragam paryaditi sabbam ruparagam paryaditi sabbam bhavaragam paryaditi sabbam avijjam paryaditi sabbam asimanam samuhanti. And he gives then an example. Take an example like this. Seyatapi bhikkave sarada samaye kassako mahanangulena kassanto sabbani mula santaka jatani sabba pada, some padalento kasati evameva ko bhikkave anicca sanya bhavita bahulikata sabbam kamragam paryadit sabbam ruparagam paryadit sabbam bhavaragam paryadit sabbam avijjam paryadit sabbam asmimana samuhanti. Seyatapi bhikkave, just like monks, sarada samaye. Sarada samaye, sarat means the summertime. Kassako mahanangulena kasanto. Kassako means a farmer. Mahanangulen, great plow. Kasanto means plowing. When the farmer is plowing with the great plow, sabbani mula santaka mula santanakani. So all roots, sampadalento kasanti. Sampadalento means uprooting or taken off. Okay, so when the farmer is plowing, what he does is he turns the soil, that is plow. When he does that, all roots are broken or cut. Sampadalento kasanti. Evameva, just like that, bhikkave, monks, anicca sanya bhavita bahulikata. If you practice anicca sanya, sabbam kamaragam, all your sensual attachments, ruparagam, paryaditi, all are removed. Yeah, and then he gives some more examples. He gives about 7 examples. You know, we won't read all of them, but Sayatapi Bhikkave, yeah, yeah, Babba Jalayako, Babbajam Laitwa, Agge Gahetwa, Odhunati, Niddunati, Nichoteti, Evameva ko bhikkhave anicca sanya bhavita bahulikata, sabbang kamragam paryaditi, etc., etc. So, okay. So now this is a bit of a tricky one. Babba Jalayako. So I have to come back to you with precise reading. I have a sense, but I don't want to give you a wrong meaning. So basically, I mean the rough meaning is so you know people nichodeti, odunati, niddunati. So I mean these are kind of some cultural expression. Yeah, no, I'll look through. I mean, I would like you to look through this because this is referring to again a cultural practice. And the next one is much more telling, very straightforward. Sayatapi bhikkave amba pindiya vantachanaya vantachinnaya yani tatha ambani vanta patibandhani sabbani thani tadanvayani bhavanti evameva ko bhikkave anicca sanya bhavita, the same thing. So that's a pretty straightforward one. Sayatapi bhikkave amba pindiya vanta chinnaya, yeah, yani tatha ambani vanta patibandhani sabbani thani tadanvayani bhavanti. So basically it says, just like a bunch of mangoes. Now just imagine yourself holding, I mean, a mango tree. You have a bunch of mangoes hanging from a stalk, and yani tatha ambani vanta patibandhani. So this whole mangoes, a bunch of mangoes are held by a one stalk, and sabbadithani tadanvayani bhavanti. So if somebody hits the stalk, the mango, what's the word? It's a stalk, something which holds all the mangoes. All the mangoes are, will fall off. Evameva ko bhikkhave, just like that monks, anicca sanya bhavita bahulikata, sabbam asmimanam, samuhanti. So basically what it says is, when you actually hit the stalk of a mango bunch and the whole bunch fall off, yeah, and similarly, when you practice anicca sanya, entire, kamaraga, your sense attachment, bhavaraga, all these attachments, break away. Yeah. So now, some of these examples are, so basically, why is he using so many analogies? That's to show how powerful the practice of anicca is. So there are actually 7 of these examples that he uses. Can you think of another reason why would he use so many examples, just not one? Yeah. Any reason why Sayatapi just like this, just like that?
Just to give the opportunity for many to understand, many.
Yeah. Basically, it's to emphasize the significance of this practice. Yeah, significance of this practice. So if you practice anicca sanya in this way, then it becomes so powerful, so powerful. So after using these, 7 examples or 7 analogies, and then he says, what is anicca sanya? And then he explains, iti rupam, thus is the form. Iti rupasa samudayo, thus is the rising of the rupa, form. Iti rupasa attangamo, thus is the cessation of the rupa. Iti vedana, this is the feelings. Iti sanya, this is perception. Thus is perception. Iti sankara, thus is mental formations. Iti vinyanam, thus is consciousness. Iti vinyanasa samudayo. Iti vinyanasa attagamoti. Evam bhavita ko bhikkhave anicca sanya. So when this impermanence, when this is practiced this way, sabbam kamaragam, all sense attachments, paryadhyati, taken away or removed. Sabbam ruparagam, sabbam bhavaragam, paryadhyati, sabbam avijjam, all ignorance, sabbam asmimanam, samuhanti. Samuhanti is a very deep word. Uprooted or taken by roots. Yeah. So now that is anicca sanya sutta. Which is again a really beautiful sutta, and that really shows the significance of anicca sanya. Yeah. So okay. So any questions about anicca sanya? Perception of impermanence. No?
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Can you please give us example for everyday life? How can we practice anicca sanya?
Oh, good question. Yeah, let me put the fan on. It's hot here, yeah? So how could you practice anicca sanya in everyday life? Let's ask Bhante, how do you practice anicca sanya?
Sometimes prayers in the morning, remembering.
Yeah?
Yeah, it uproots all the connected.
Yeah, but Bhante, we said anicca sanya, impermanence.
Bhavita Bhavligata.
Yeah, no, impermanence can be practiced at two different levels. Nicce anicca sanya or anicce nicca sanya. Now, none of these is, so in the worldly context, impermanence is practiced in the wrong way. Yeah, because you are actually positing something, and that something is changing, sort of transformation. But that is not anicca sanya in the true sense. And that is not what is going to uproot all the I would say anicca is actually, for you to understand anicca properly, you have to understand paticca samuppada. So paticca samuppada has many aspects to it. Now, the most important one is called idappacchayata. Idappacchayata is like, idappacchayata means iti imasming sati idang hoti. When this is. Rising of this, arises this. When this isn't, this isn't.
Yeah.
And cessation of this ceases this. So that is called idappacchayata. So you actually realize and understand not just something is impermanent, but you understand the true nature of emptiness. Now remember, pena pindu pamang rupam. The Buddha says, look at the Ganges. The form is so empty. It's actually in the Mahayana tradition. I think they have a bit more insightful practice. The emptiness. You practice emptiness. Now, emptiness is not nothingness. Now that's a danger. When you think, nothingness, then then you fall into nihilism, and that's another danger. So, how do you actually practice something without falling into eternalism or nihilism? And way you practice that is you touch on the emptiness. Now we have actually discussed this in a different way. Now remember we talked about the difference between 0 and minus 1. What's the difference between 0 and minus 1?
If
Vijay.
minus 1 is there, there should be 1.
Exactly. When you know, minus 1, you know, is like there's nothing. When you say nothing, then there nothing is there, right? Yeah. So minus 1 is where there has been a 1 already. You know, minus 1 always presupposes 1. And this is 1 is what is called, you know, eternalism, Sakkaya Ditthi, Sassada Ditthi, yeah? So there exist, you know, so you accept the world, you are actually accepting the world, and then you are minusing, you minus the world, and this is actually, this is a worldly affair. Whereas zero is a different different concept altogether. Yeah. Zero is a zero. No. Zero is like emptiness.
Emptiness.
Yeah. Emptiness. So, I mean, this is Ucheda Ditti is this. This is Sassata Ditti.
This is
Yeah. Sassata. And this is Ucheda. Yeah. So, but actually, you know, when you understand zero, do you understand zero? That's the question. See, a lot of people don't understand zero. They actually, when they say A0, when you say A0 is equal to 1, yeah? So it's not A0, you know, A0 is a 1. It's 0. Yeah. So if you practice anicca sanya as 0 rather than minus 1, or 1 which is changing, you know, there is 1, you know, that is, you know, 1 stands for, you know, man, tree, you know, like blah, 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 everything. So existence of something, and that something is changing, you know, impermanent, or, you know, you can keep on saying those things about 1. So that is actually, that's Niche Anicca Sanya. Yeah. So, you know, same as Anicca, you know, Anicca, you know, Nicca Sanya. So both are bad. Yeah. So, but what the Buddha wants is Aniccang Aniccato Dakkhum. Aniccang Aniccato Dakkhum. Yeah. Okay. So does that make sense, Vijay?
Yes, Dr. Sunil. Thank you so
Okay.
much for nice explanation and really
Okay.
interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so we are slowly coming to the end of the day, end of the class, end of the course, but this is just the beginning of your interest in Dhamma. Yeah. So we would like to bless you for the rest of your understanding, realization of Dhamma. So I think both Bhantes are going to do a bit of a chanting and bless us all, hoping that we will realize one day.
Okay.
Bhante, so who is going to start? Maybe we can start with Venerable Vijita. Yeah, because he needs to get some sleep. Bhante Dhammarathana is lucky because he had a full night's sleep, but he was up from 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I came
Okay.
early morning.
Yeah.
The great protection and blessings.
Yeah. Let's start with Venerable
We both
Vijita.
together. Never.
Both together,
We
yeah.
both together. Yeah, we can bless together.
Yeah,
Okay.
which Gatha Bhante?
You can suggest one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, our Professor Sunil Kariyakarawana and all the Dhamma friends, and especially our Vijithandru and our Dhamma friendship. Thank you. May the blessings of the Triple Gem and wisdom and good health, success, happiness, blessing of the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha. Have a good day, blessings. The Gautama Buddha's teaching. We are chanting a special Gatha right now. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sabbe buddha balapatta paccekanang cayang balang arhang tanang ca tejena rakhang bandhami sabbaso sabbe buddha balapatta paccekanang cayang balang arhang tanang ca tejena rakhang bandhami sabbaso sabbe buddha balapatta paccekanang cayang balang arhang tanang ca tejena rakhang bandhami sabbaso sadhu sadhu sadhu. Thank you, Professor and Vijithandru and Vijay Jasundara and Alex and all the Dhamma friends. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
successful
Thank
day.
you, Bhante. That's really wonderful. You know, Sabbe Buddha Balapata, all Buddhas are so powerful. Yeah, Paccekanan Bala. You know, by the power of the Pacceka Buddhas, yeah, Arahantanan Jitejena, by the power of the Arahants, Rakambanda Misabasu. You know, we actually protect, we wish, we pray for the protection of all of you. Lovely, Bhante. Thank you so much. You
You're
both have
welcome.
been so kind and so wonderful, throughout this course. Yeah, so you have been really, really kind to bless us all. And thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in the next course as well. so, yeah,
Yeah.
and Vijay, Alex, you've been wonderful Dhamma friends, and now you have no option but to join me in the retreat. so,
Do send everything about it. I'd love
yeah,
to join.
yeah, very good, excellent. We will do that. Yeah, and any final words from anybody?
Yeah, I would thank you all so much, Professor Sunil and Bhante and also Vijay, that I could be part of this. Thank you for your wise words, all of you, and many blessings and metta.
Thank you so much, Alex. You've been such a kind gentleman, helping, supporting, understanding the Buddha Dhamma. So we all wish and pray that you will, you will develop your Pali understanding of the suttas, and that will also go to alleviate suffering of many beings everywhere. Okay, excellent.
The light of
Vijay?
Buddha Dharma Foundation and internationals. Our Buddha
Yes.
Dharma course.
Yeah, we will do a Dhamma Vicaya course
Dhamma Vicaya.
soon. Vijay.
Yes, Dr. Sunil, first of all, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Especially, I met all two Bhanthes and Alex. I'm really glad I meet you all, because it's very rare having Dhamma friends like you all. So I think I am so much lucky and fortunate to have you all here and to listen to you and to share the things with you. And I do hope that we can have that WhatsApp group and we can share the things to practice our Dhamma journey. So thank you very much, and much merit to Dr. Sunil, dear Bhanthes and Alex. Thank you so much that when I was not there, you were explaining the things so nicely. So thank you so much, everybody, and wish you all the very best in your ways. And may you all have blessings of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Much merit.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I would like to end this course with a reminder by the Buddha. The Buddha says, I'm going to give you an advice. It's called Sugatovada in the Pali canon. Sugatovada. And the Sugatovada is, Ovada means advice. Sugata, by the Buddha. Buddha says, Kicho manussa patilabho. I think we discussed this stanza. Kicho means it's rare being born as human. Kichang machana jivita. It's rare to live with all the faculties, alive, and you have no idea. So how lucky you are to live with your eyes and ears and nose and all your, body and, everything healthy and being able to follow the teachings. Kicham machana jivitang, kichang saddhamma savana. It's so rare to be exposed, to be introduced to the Buddha, Buddha Dhamma. Kichang saddham. Yeah. Saddhamma, kicho buddhanang upadu. So the birth or the rising of the Buddhas is very rare. So thank you so much. And I think these are like, 4 lotteries that you have won. And probably you need to cherish that. Yeah. So, and let's memorize the stanza. Yeah. Kicho manussa patilabho. Kichang machana jivita. Kichang saddhamma savana. Kicho buddhanang uppadu. How wonderful. Yeah, so that's the end of the course. But this is the beginning of all our journeys. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. See you all soon again. We will send you the details of the retreat. Okay. And Bhante
Thank you,
Vijita is having a sleepless night tonight. Yeah. Okay. Take care, everybody. Alex,
Take
were
care.
you going to say something?
No, take care.
Okay. Yeah. Bye, everybody. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
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 Bye.